We're just going to give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. Nice to see everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for coming to tonight's November Evening Education Connection through HMS Connect. Tonight, we're doing a special in-house presentation with our very own Teresa and Courtney of Adapt Play Connect. They're going to be talking about some adaptive play and leisure and how that can be accessible for you and your family. So I will turn it over to you both.
All right, I'm going to share this so that we are all looking at the same thing, hypothetically. All right. Oh, look, it's HMS. Hello, everyone. We won't do the part where we talk about HMS school because you all know about HMS school, but we can do the part where we talk about ourselves.
Hi, I'm Courtney Grimes. I'm a special ed teacher at HMS. I work with, this year, I'm with 13 to 17-year-olds. I truly believe that everything's accessible. We are the ones that have to figure it out, and I love to switch adapt everything.
And I am Teresa Jardina. I am a special ed teacher, and I am also the co-director of HMS Connect. And sometimes I teach APE now. And my thing is fun is more fun. I really think that if we're having fun, if the students are having fun, and if all of the other staff are having fun, more learning is happening. So that's sort of my jam. So what we will do today is we're going to bring you some ideas using a variety of tools. Some of them are specially like special ed tools, and some of them are just commercially available things. Some we've changed and some we just use in different ways. And we just ask that you bring your curiosity, your questions, and your ideas.
I think a lot of us are familiar with, and the crowd that we have tonight is the specialty equipment, and that would be using a PowerLink. And you use it with things that can plug in, and it has a dedicated on-off. You can do it timed, latched, or direct. And then the other thing we are really lucky at HMS is that every classroom and I believe almost every student has access to a switch. And that allows us to access the PowerLink and other items, which could be either a Jelly Bean, a Big Red, a Proximity, a Bluetooth, and exploring many other switch ideas out there.
So these pictures are sort of two, like the sort of older PowerLink and the newer PowerLink. There's also another one that's sort of called the Power Select. They're all sort of do the same thing. You plug something into it and then you plug switches into it so that you're able to turn it on and off. And sometimes you can find them on eBay for a lot less than they cost new, which is a well. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you a lot of things that we like to plug into PowerLinks and the way we like to use them. A lot of what the other things that we're going to show today are.
So first we'll go into inflatables, and I do, for many of the parents that are on, I don't know if you've heard when we talk about them in the very beginning and years ago of PowerLinks, is you can plug a blender in and students and our kids can be part of cooking and part of activities. As a teacher, I kind of wore out all the different things to do with a blender, and working side by side with Teresa, we've explored many other things. And our newest exciting thing that we like are inflatables. Inflatables are really quiet. They come in different sizes, and you can get them in multiple themes, especially after holidays. They are a lot of times on sale. And you can also find one like free groups on Facebook marketplaces, sales after holidays. But I think we have some more videos to show of the activities to do.
So this is a smaller sort of tabletop one. And what I like about it is it's really nice and quiet. We're going to show you some things that are kind of loud and some things that are kind of quiet. A handful of your kids know that Courtney and I will make a lot of loud noise. And sometimes we have to warn them, and then sometimes we'll be like, no, it's okay. This is a quiet one. Come in for this. And then they'll be like, okay. So this one is just sort of a little Courtney and I arguing about what it is, whether it's an eagle or she thinks it's a Baltimore Raven. I think that it's an eagle, but it just sort of does that little wacky noodle dance kind of thing. And it's like a tabletop one, but it has a nice little, it has some really nice movement and can be actually really like a highly inspiring sort of thing to turn on and watch sort of dance with stuff. And this is another way that we've liked to do. I just wanted to not start until I finish talking. So sometimes we put the inflatable inside something. So this is inside of like a birthday present. It's like kind of slow. It's quiet. And then this is like a birthday cake inflatable. We have done this where it plays music, so that while it's blowing off out of the box, it's playing happy birthday. We've done it with a snowman coming out of a box and playing Do You Want to Build a Snowman? But it's kind of fun because it just sort of comes out and then it can go flat and then you can do it again. Or they're really great to sort of have in like as a decoration that you can go buy and turn on. And then you know, it's on for maybe a little while and then you turn it off.
And I think the cool thing too about this one in particular is it's an easy cleanup. So if we think of our bedrooms at home or our kids' bedrooms at home, the tabletop one's nice. It can go right on their dresser. And if they know where the switch is, it's now an independent leisure activity to do within their room. So if we're working on them pushing their chairs a little bit further, driving their chairs a little further, or just stretching out, it's a nice quiet activity. That's a quick cleanup, but it's something that could always be in one location so your child knows how to play and they can access it throughout their time at home. Or at school, we set it up in the hallway and they can do the same thing.
And we like to use this one a lot of times for classroom birthday parties too. We'll use the birthday one. All right. So these are not quiet.
They're not quiet.
We started with quiet, do some not quiet.
Yes. So there are lots of things you can do with air and finding different things that blow air, making things race, making things blow up. So we have found many different ways to use leaf blowers. The fan is kind of what it's all started with, and we now have moved on to air mattress inflators. And we just love them so much because there's lots of different opportunities for us to create activities with them.
So some of you might remember from Winter Showcase last year, we did a snowball fight. And one of the ways that we threw the snowballs was using leaf blowers. So here we had the snowball just right inside a plug-in leaf blower. And then when you hit the switch, it just blew air for like a second or two and threw it. And then this lower one is a smaller plug-in leaf blower. And we actually put it on I just call it Susan now. I don't call it Lazy Susan. Because I'm always like, she's not lazy, she's just smarter than you. So she's just Susan. I just put it on Susan, and when it goes, it's sort of like if you had someone who could aim it, it makes it easier to aim, or it sort of gives a more surprising movement to it. It sort of moves back and forth and blows those around. But the number of things that you can kind of throw around with just a very short amount of air on a leaf blower.
Oh, Teresa, you muted yourself.
Including leaves, but not only leaves.
Come on, Mia, go.
And that was made with 3 pop-up hampers from the dollar store, and we put a snowman face on it. So we had to fill up and feed the snowmen. Again, that same concept is there of the leaf blower. After many times, some of your children know how loud they are, and they don't want to play this game, which is fine because they've learned it over time, but they also anticipate exactly what's going to happen. So the concept is always there. It's the leaf blower is blowing the item, but the activity changes seasonally or thematically. And if there's stuff that you wanted to do at home, you could change it to those activities as well. But the same setup is always there for them.
So I'm going to show it again. You'll see that we're using the, this is just a styrofoam cup to kind of help give us a little spot for it to, that fake snowball to sit on. So you'll notice like a lot of times we'll just sort of like we'll be like, I want this, but I want it to be slightly different than it is.
Mhm.
And then we will spend some time sticking different things onto the leaf blower and other things to try to make it
Come
work.
on, Mia, go, Mia.
But yeah, that's another one. And then I'm gonna pause because I want you to talk about it first.
So I learned a really valuable lesson in this is to let people know what to anticipate, because this was a brand new game that we played, which we have turned it into more of a surprise event. I turned part of my classroom into a fun house. So it was kind of like blocked off, and the students had to access the switch. For the leaf blower at this time is behind the sharks that you can see. And the surprise, you guys will be able to see it, but this is definitely one that you should warn people about. But again, students learned it, saw it, and then would anticipate what would happen next. So it's a fun way for your kids, if they have siblings at home or cousins that are coming over, you can set up a fun house for them to do. And it's a fun way for them to surprise people around them. And I didn't say it in the beginning, but one of my favorite things about all of these activities, there's only one way to play. And that way is already adapted. So for our kids at HMS, everybody's playing the same way. If we have a carnival and the siblings are coming, they're playing the same way. If your kid comes to school with a nurse, that nurse is playing the same exact way. So it's the same game that's played the exact same way, and it's made to be adapted.
And this one, everything is sort of just hanging on like fishing line or string. So this could easily be done in like a doorway between two rooms, or like in someone's like doorway or in the closet doorway, and then like with a fan or something inside there that sort of like has this dramatic blowing of things out. Maybe some people got a little too scared of this the first time we did it, because they did not expect it to be quite as dramatic as it was. But they built back up. They came back and tried it again.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good
Let's
time.
play in our sensory garden. PowerLink.
That's me talking in the classroom. But so this is another use for this is it's a floor dryer fan that we have found we really liked, because you can angle it on different angles. That lower video shows that the fan is actually elevated upwards, so the wind is going in this direction, and we were able to set up pinwheels. So the pinwheels are set up on pool noodles and hair drying stands, which they sell, and they're super cheap. They're like $20 that you can see in the background. The windmills are actually on like a pool noodle that are being held up. So the concept behind it, again, is still that fanned aspect. This is a little bit quieter. And it's a stationary activity that when it is set up, it can be set up in the hallway, it can set up in or in your bedroom or playroom at home, and it's the same way of playing it, and they can anticipate what the outcome's going to be.
Let's play in our sensory garden.
Let's plant our sensory garden.
Have a PowerLink with a fan blowing a wind garden that we've created out of pinwheels, pool noodles, and a hair dryer rack holder.
So this is the hair dryer holder. So this is something that they sell for, like, you can buy it on Amazon. It holds the hair dryer so you can use both of your hands to do your hair. I think that's what it's for. But it basically is like a weighted base, a stick, and then like a bendy end with a clamp. And we have found so many ways to use that just to hold something or to get it closer. Because a lot of times the thing that is really helpful for our students is just to be able to like get it closer to them so that they can access it, or they can see it, or they can touch it, or it's just like, or maybe it's holding it so they don't have to hold it, and then they can manipulate it in some way, or it could be closer to them. So that has been one that has been like a game changer. It also like it's like a telescoping pole, so it like can be smaller, or taller. And the clamp end holds a lot of really great stuff. But it's been really good for doing a lot of things. And you could even use it to hold a hairdryer and plug the hairdryer into the power link, and then they could dry their own hair. We have not used it for its actual purpose of holding a hairdryer. But one could. So this is a ball throwing activity that we did. And this is a louder one, but it is using the leaf blower. And you can kind of see how it's set up as it is up here with the leaf blower. And then again, like I said, we often will be like, oh, I want to throw this ball, but I need something to like hold it while I'm waiting for someone to like turn it on. So we'll use a bucket with a hole in it. So we just like took the bucket, dollar store bucket, and cut a hole in it with a utility knife. And that gave us this perfect thing for the ball to sit on. The other thing that I'm going to say we discovered last year, but like, it's not like I made it. We just finally Googled it, was that they make beach balls that look like a lot of different sports balls.
Mm-hmm.
So like a basketball would be too heavy to actually blow with this leaf blower. But they sell beach balls that look like basketballs, and they sell beach balls that look like, volleyballs, and they sell beach balls that look like, footballs. And in this lower one, the beach ball looks like BB-8.
And Teresa, for something, for the sports aspect of it, we use a lot of it for the beginning of baseball. So our students and the students in my class can throw the baseball, and they can throw a football to kick off the seasons. So just like cousins might be having catches in the backyard, this can be a setup. And Teresa and I, for future times, if you do need it, we can send you pictures on how to do it. But your child can be set up out back, and they can now throw a ball with their cousins by using this and accessing their switch.
So I will switch her back over.
So loud.
But, yeah, it's very loud. This is a loud one. And it's interesting as when we try different things where we'll be like, this is more of a leaf blower one. This is more of a fan one. What we found with the beach balls and the fan is like you can get it just right, and the ball will float. It won't go anywhere. It's great, but it's not the same as throwing. But you can use a really short blast of air is the other thing that we found, is like making sure that it's like not sustained loudness. It can be a really short amount of loudness.
Go. Okay.
So this is something that it sounds silly to say now, but we discovered that the air mattress inflators are commercially available. I think they're $15 or $20 on Amazon, or you might have one in your house already. They're great for blowing up balloons. So our classroom this year started a birthday biz, and in the birthday biz, you can come and you can purchase a balloon for somebody in your classroom or a staff member or somebody at home that you want to blow up the balloon for. And with the assistance of just staff putting the two pieces together, the student is in charge of blowing it up. So using the power link, we kind of play with the timing of it, and I call it kind of interruptive play. So I might just give it like 5 seconds, and then kids in my class, you have to do it more. And that's something that we work on. So we blow it up a little bit at a time, depending on what the skill level that we're working on and what the goal is for the student that is blowing up the balloon.
So using the air mattress pump, you're going to use the smallest tip. Place it in the balloon. All right. Can you turn that on? That's right. Keep going. We need more. Oh, thanks. One more. I think we're good. Perfect.
And so one of the things we found with Mylar balloons is that they're self-sealing. So when you blow it up and you just pull it off, and then it like is sealed and the air doesn't come out. You don't have to tie it, which is really nice. Also, we're not allowed to use latex balloons at school. You can use latex balloons at home. But the other thing about Mylar balloons is you can get them in pretty much any theme that you can imagine. You can find a Mylar balloon of it. And so it can become a really easy way to do like a lot of decorating. So we use them a lot for prom too, because we're like, oh, we can get a whole bunch of, like last year, giant red rose balloons. And then students helped blow those balloons up, and then we had them, and then it made a really nice, like dramatic area, but it was like very easy to do and not super expensive. Let's see what balloons. Do you want to talk about the disco ball motor, or you want me to?
Sure. So I don't know if everybody's had experience with it, but is it AbleNet that makes the switch adapted pourer?
Mhm.
It's a special ed piece of equipment. It's rather expensive. It's super slow. But we loved it, and there was a lot of different uses for it. So with Teresa and I kind of brainstorming over time, we discovered that you can purchase a disco ball motor, and it's another $15 or $20 purchase on Amazon. The more you want from the disco ball motor, you can kind of find all the different options. We now have one that lights up. But the nice thing about the disco ball motor is it plugs in. So the same thing is we can plug it into the power link, and depending on what we're working on, either holding the switch down, if we're working on turning it on and then turning it off, or if we're working on it, our students initiating turning it on, waiting the few seconds, it turns off, and then initiating it and turning it back on. So there's many different things that we can do by kind of using a disco ball motor in place of the switch adapted pourers.
So this is I'm really glad that I left all the sound in of Courtney being really excited when she's like,
I've been trying for this for so long.
So we turned it into golf. So we were able to attach a golf club to the disco ball motor and to get that swinging action. So initially we attached it directly to the disco ball motor, and there's a picture down here in the other corner. We eventually actually used a microphone clip and used that instead, and that gave us a lot more flexibility of what we could attach to the disco ball motor and have the same sort of turning action. But we set up mini golf, and so we were able to use it to make that movement, and then hit the golf ball and do all these different golfing activities, and set up a whole bunch of different thematic golfing. We had a Philadelphia themed one where it went to the whole like crack in the Liberty Bell, and we've done different things like that. But we were able to use that spinning motion to, I don't know what the word is for golfing, to golf. Is golf just the verb?
Mhm.
Is it just golf?
You just golf.
To golf.
You just golf, yeah.
Swing the golf club. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And something that we are continuing to think about, we realize that going to a mini golf course, you're not going to have power cords all over the golf course. So there is possibility, we're figuring it out, hopefully, but how to have a battery operated one that has enough force.
Right now the battery operated one just isn't strong enough. It's for like a almost more of like a, you'd like put it on your porch and it would have like one of those ribbon dancer things on it.
Mhm.
We're gonna get it, and then we're gonna be able to tell you all how to take it with you. So we like to put a lot of things on the same disco ball motor to do a lot of all different kinds of stuff. So this one is actually like car races, and so we just again use that microphone clip and any kind of stick, and it's holding back the car, and then when it moves, the car can roll. So if you're not able to hold onto the car and drop it down the track, you might be able to access that switch with your head and do the same activity. You can kind of get ahead.
Press.
the other thing in these two videos that I really like and want to point out is these ramps. So these are actually made of cardboard, and they were actually made through a partnership between HMS and Temple OT program. But ramps are great and can be made out of all kinds of stuff. Just, part of a box, a tube, wrapping paper tubes, or those poster mailers. All of those things are great, and they open up a lot of different play opportunities for people. One of the things that Sheila shared with me one time, I'm going to share this, was when they did Halloween. You remember the first COVID Halloween, and everybody made candy shoots? They went down onto the sidewalk, and and I remember her coming in and saying it was the best Halloween ever, because Mary Grace was able to drive right up to the different houses, and there were steps. She couldn't normally go to the door, but now she could get there because the candy came down the candy chute. But you can use that same idea for a lot of different things inside and outside your own home too. Courtney really wants us to use it to send drinks to people.
I think for people that have basements and you have gatherings, I know what it's like to get somebody up and down the steps in a wheelchair. It's not always the super easiest thing. But if somebody downstairs wants a Coca-Cola or a bottle of water, you push it down the chute, and then the person at the bottom of the steps can have it.
Or off, if you had a deck, you could send it down the deck. That could be super fun. Maybe not an aluminum can, or maybe not glass bottle, at your own risk. But you can definitely send it down. And that could be a good time. So, okay, these next ones are 3 different kinds of turntables that all plug in. They all spin. They're like spinning turntables in different sizes. So this one at the bottom is like a really big one. It's almost like the size of a cake stand. I think it's for displaying things in like a store window, like really great sneakers, and then they rotate slowly. That's apparently a look. I don't know. This one up here is smaller. It's probably the size of it's a little bit smaller than a CD, if people remember CDs from not that long ago. It's not that much small. It's not that much. It's about that size. And it is also used for displaying things. This one has a light in it. And what we did for this one, we'll see it in a minute, is we just, instead of having it flat the way it's designed, turned it 90 degrees so that when it was spinning, it was sort of spinning the other way, and we just added a cup to it so that we could use that to pour things. And then this is another one that's the same kind of thing but doesn't have a light on it. And at a time I didn't have time. Okay, so here's this one. We did this for, now you don't only have to pour sprinkles, but this was us pouring sprinkles. So we took the turntable. We took 2 turntables. So there's the big turntable that the cakes are on, and then there's the little turntable that the sprinkles are in. So both things turn at the same time. We have them plugged into the same to decorate a cake. And we sort of did this to sort of have this fun idea of like how to best make every piece of a birthday party which adapted. So we did it like this. You'll see cake is turning, the sprinkle thing is turning. You do it, and then that's so cool. The sprinkles pour out. You could do individual cupcakes. I actually think if you were actually having a party, it would be better, because then everyone could like pour sprinkles on their own cupcake, and then everyone could use a switch to do it, which could be kind of a fun activity. And you could pour anything out of that. We just poured sprinkles out of it. We also played with the idea of like, you could refill snacks that way, right? It could be full of goldfish crackers, and then somebody, comes over, and that's how they refill refill your snack, refill your chips. And then this one, I like this turntable at the top. I like because it does have those lights, and it just gives that little bit more visual attraction, right? Like when you hit the switch, it also turns the lights on, so it gives you that little bit of like, oh, that's where it is. That's what's happening. Because sometimes I used to always joke when I would use the pourers to do baking, we were like pouring sugar onto flour. So I was pouring like something white onto something white. So it was like
Mhm.
really hard to see. It was visually not that appealing. It was very difficult to see. But with the lights on the thing that's pouring, it does give that little bit like, oh, that's what I'm looking at. That's what's happening. That's the change that I'm making in the world. That's the effect that I've had.
That's what you mean?
So the other thing too, the more you get to hang out with me and Teresa and our wild ideas, is the same concept is used for different themes. So this year we did pumpkin painting as the same setup as the cake pouring. So we, I think we turned this pumpkin into watermelon. So we were painting it red. So using the same concept that we did with the cake is using the display motor at the top has the red paint in it, and then the white motor on the bottom has the pumpkin on it. So both of them are rotating, and the students are doing it on their own.
Go ahead, hit it again.
Lift up. Ready? Oh, good job.
Some are friendly, some are not.
Oh, that looks a good strawberry color with the mix.
Walking along and singing a song.
Nice job.
I love my red shoes. I love my red shoes. I love my red shoes.
And this one I like too. I mean, for the canvases that we've done as well, but that technique of paint pouring has become very popular and you can purchase it and people are doing it. Well, now that concept is able to be transferred over into our classrooms and we can do them as well. So it's another activity that maybe their siblings or cousins are doing and they also are doing them just with the different technology.
All right, so this next one is just music. This is, so we bought this. This is a switch adapted Bluetooth speaker. It has 2 switch ports, one for play and pause and one for next song. And I did not get a video of it, unfortunately, because of reasons. But you can then set up a playlist on anything, a phone, any kind of tablet, Bluetooth speaker, and then you can use the switch to do play, pause, and then the other switch to do next song. So this is more specialty equipment, but the company that sells these, I'll make sure that when I send out the newsletter this week that I'll put in all of the links to all of the, or like a link to something that has all of the links. They only charge like $40 for it. So in the world of switch adapted specialty equipment, it's not outrageous. It looks to me to be the exact same kind of speaker you could buy at Five Below. So maybe you could buy one and do it yourself. I have not yet taken one apart to do that, but there's always time. But it's nice because it gives you that, it's, you know, it can also be used without the switches. So it can be used as just a, you know, you don't have to use a switch with it, but you can use it for both play and pause and next song. I'm a huge fan of making thematic playlists. So not so much my younger child, but my older child, every single one of his birthdays until COVID had a very elaborate theme, and then would have a very elaborate playlist of music. So he had like a rainbow themed birthday party, and every single song was like about rainbows or colors. And then they played throughout the house. So I do love, if you're gonna have a party, to have a thematic playlist. This is just one more piece. It's also a piece that your child can be involved in leading up to something. So leading up to a party, even if you're not doing a ridiculous themed playlist, but you could like be part of that, choosing music. Do you like this one? Do you not like that one? And doing that act of just putting that playlist together, I think is a really great way to include people and also make sure that there's music that everybody likes.
Teresa, sorry, one of the
Yes.
things Sheila was asking in the bendy clips that we were using, if we could in the newsletter show maybe a picture of what's commercially available and then which ones are the special ed equipment that are specialty finds.
Awesome. So yeah, I saw that. So this red one,
Trash pick.
was out of the trash, and then got thrown away in Minnesota, because it got a little broken. But it's a cell phone holder. So that's what it's like, like from like a Target Five Below kind of deal, where it has a clip on one end, a clip on each end, but it's like designed to hold your phone. These are more that it's called modular hose, and it is something that is sold sort of in a more like AT kind of way. Although you can, in the realm of specialty equipment, is not outrageously expensive, but a lot of those sort of like tablet holders and phone holders and all of those sort of gooseneck things that they sell, so that you can, like, anything that they sell so that you can like hold your phone while you're in bed, is the best thing. Because at first you go, what? I can't even hold my phone in bed. And then you go, oh, wait, I could use it to hold this for my kid and that for my kid and this thing. And I can hold it like this and we can put it this place. And when they're on the couch, we can do it like this. So we'll make sure that all of those that we have are available to music and snacks and drinks.
Oh, where's Jacob and Lori? This is your part right here. We
Yeah.
thought about you guys. One of the things, talking to students that are in my class and students that are graduating, big things for family are celebrations, and how our students can participate in their own celebration, or they can celebrate in a celebration for their family or their siblings or their cousins or anybody else. So this goes into more of the snacks and drinks. So with a couple of items, I believe everything you see on here is an Amazon purchase. So you can be your very own concession stand, which is really neat. And I always go back to my favorite thing is everybody does it the same way. So we found these serving snacks, these small little green clips that are in that bottom are to hold open Ziploc bags when prepping meals for the week. So I've seen them with somebody might have the crock pot out or all the different veggies are sliced up, and then those green clips just hold your bag in place. So for us, it holds the bag open. I'm no longer doing it. It's an independent activity. I set up the pourer, and people in my class are able to pour their own snacks or drink for themselves. We did goodie bags at a birthday party. They can pour their own goodie bags. And this is also using that same display motor that we found and we used for the pumpkin painting and the cake pouring.
And yeah, so those are just like bag holders, and you can set up so many different things. You could set up doing a whole thing with, filling a whole bunch of snack bags for something, for an event and all of those kind of things. So this is, wait, Jacob,
Wow.
wait for me.
Jacob's debut.
So this is one of my new favorite things. This is an adapted wine pourer. Now, it is a wine aerator. It is sold to make cheap wine taste fancy, but you don't have to pour wine with it. You do have to use a bottle, that kind of bottle, because of the way this particular one works. So in here, because we're at school, we're pouring sparkling apple cider. So this one, unlike some of most of the other things that we showed you today, I actually went in and I wired, I soldered in a adapter so that it will be switch activated. So we'll watch. And we were doing a whole lot of stuff, so that's why there's too many things on this table. But
Well, we'll take it around.
This is awesome.
And so with the switch, it pours, and it pours a glass. This one I also really like because it lights up a little bit. So the spout turns blue. It has a little LED in there. I don't know if that's actually to make wine taste better. I think it's just an extra thing they put in there. But again, it gives like a visual clue, because when we did it pouring water out of a bottle, it's hard to see, right? Like, it's not easy to see. Even the apple cider is not super easy to see. They also make these to pour to go on like those 5-gallon waters, like at water cooler waters. We played with that one. I like it, but here's the difference. This one, the wine one, is set up that it is like when I hit the switch, it's pouring. When I take my hand off the switch, it stops. Great. That's what I want. The water one, because it's just designed slightly differently, is an on and an off. So when I hit the switch, it's on until I hit the switch again, and then it turns off. Now that's a lot of fun if you're having a party outdoors, and it doesn't matter if things overflow. It is less fun if it matters if things overflow. It's great possibly for watering plants, and less great for pouring drinks. But I am experimenting with that one to see if I can get it to not just stay on. But the this wine adapter aerator has been great, and it goes when you turn things on, and then you can have it set up and everybody can pour wine with the switch or apple cider or whatever you have. Everybody who's getting a drink can use that same tool to pour it, or have somebody else, be the server and pour those for their friends and family, which I think is really fun.
And I think, Teresa, one of the things that you've brought up before is something that we do because we want to provide success, and we want to provide a meaningful activity for people that are learning how to use switches to interact with their world, is we find ourselves pouring the drink into a pourer, and then they pour the drink into the cup. And our students are getting it. Our friends are getting it that are using switches. I've already poured it. I'm not going to have that. But this right here, you can't get it out unless you're using the switch. So for them to see everybody using the switch provides that meaning behind it on what exactly it's doing and why they're using it.
All right. So photos are also a big part of play and parties. And as we get towards the holiday season, we're always taking pictures of stuff. So we wanted to show you some ways to have it be more accessible for your students to take pictures. So what we have here is this is a Bluetooth remote. So these are like selfie remotes. They're just sold commercially, and they pair with your phone or a tablet, and they just work to take, they basically work by telling the phone volume up, which is a way to take a picture. In case you didn't know, you can hit if you're in the thing, you can hit the side of your phone, hit volume up, it'll take a picture. But they're very cheap. They sell them at Five Below. I think we bought 6 of them for $12, like super cheap. The buttons are a little small. So what we've found that you can do is these are, I don't know why these are the 2 most pixelated pictures ever, but these are cabinet bumpers, like those little plastic bumps that you put so your cabinet doesn't slam shut. And they're self-adhesive, so they're sticky on one side. And taking that little bump and sticking it on the button makes the button easier to find, and it makes it bigger. For some people, that's enough. Now they can access that button really easily. For other people, you can build up the button even more and even attach the top of a switch or a bigger, like a gift card sort of sized thing, like all of a sudden I can put this on there, and now it's easier for me to see, and I can press this, use this bigger movement that I have instead of this little teeny tiny movement, and I can hit the button to take the pictures. And so then you can hook up the remote to take pictures. You can also hook up some of the, using some of the assistive touch things inside iOS devices where you can use voice controls where you can tell it to take a picture. But now you can hook it out, and then you can use some of those same bendy arms we showed that are like phone holders. You can put that bendy arm onto the armrest of the wheelchair, bend it around. Now I can see the, essentially a selfie stick, right? And then I can have a way to take pictures, and now I can be taking pictures at a party or a family gathering too. And we have this bubble machine here because I like to do, if we're going to take a group picture, especially when we're gonna take a group picture, how many other ridiculous things can we add? So like adding in a bubble maker, adding in props, and all of those things that can also potentially be switch adapted, give you all these other extra like fun things for those like photo moments that can be really beautiful and entertaining.
This is one that we have taken from it's our party, and I'll adapt it if I want to. But and this is, coming up towards holiday season or birthdays times, is frustration-free packaging, and how we can make it easier to enjoy presents, but also make it easier to unwrap presents. And thank you, Lori. This is definitely something that came from working with you over the years. One of the things, Teresa, you want me to go into this one, then you can do the tech out? Okay. So with the frustration-free packaging, having Lori and Jacob in my classroom for many years and talking about celebrating it's hard for Jacob to unwrap presents, but he can take things out of a bag. So for us looking forward, it's okay to tell relatives when bringing presents to our students and our friends that need the help to get presents out, is to tell them how the packaging could best fit our students, which is gift bags, easy unwrap, and I think many of us know, but put batteries in it, charge it, make sure it's ready to go as soon as they open it. I have a niece and nephew myself, and you need all the equipment to open one item, and it's the screwdriver, it's a box cutter, it's all the things, plus the batteries, plus everything. So when presenting presents to our students, our friends, to make sure that they are ready to play, but also giving them the ability to open it and have that that pride and that excitement and the success for their birthday party.
So I'll see if
to wrap a present for the holidays, because all kids deserve the thrill of ripping wrapping paper off of their presents. First, you need to make a loop with a piece of ribbon and tape it to the edge of the box. Make sure the loop is very big. This will make a lot of sense by the final step. Once the loop is secured, wrap the ribbon around the box. The goal is that the recipient will be able to tug the handle that you made and rip the paper off with the ribbon. I'm accompanied by the queen of wrapping herself, my mother, so I'm going to let her take over the bulk of the wrapping process. Finally, the tricky part is to make sure that the loop is sticking out of the side. This is why it's so important that the loop is very big. You're going to lose a little size here. And now the final product. Have a happy and accessible holiday season.
So they just put, and so I love Tech Owl. If you're not currently following Tech Owl on social media, I highly recommend following them. They are coming on Saturday to do a toy adapting workshop at HMS, to which you were all invited. And they have done 2 of our evening education connections, and they do some really great stuff, and they have great tips like this on their social media as well. So they just put a ribbon sort of around the inside, so now you just need this much smaller movement. You don't need to like be able to grab this like super flat wrapping paper. You can grab that loop. You can make the loop huge, right? You do it with a wider ribbon. It has a really nice, like, easier way to just unwrap that. The other thing that I want to talk about with wrapping things is ways to identify presents. So color, texture, and sound. If you are thinking of a holiday in which many people are getting presents, wrapping everyone's presents in one color. So all of Courtney's presents are green, and all of Teresa's presents are yellow, because yellow is a color that I can identify and see really well. And all of Julie's presents are red. Now I can identify in a pile of presents whose presents belong to who. And I can also be involved in handing presents out or figuring out which ones are mine. And you could do the same thing with a texture. You could put something on the present. So all of my presents have a little piece of this fuzzy mitt on there, so that I'm able to find it and identify it if I'm not able to see it super well. Or maybe I put a bell on all of the presents so that I know, like, I can pick it up and I can like shake it and I can be like, oh, this one doesn't have a bell. I know that one's not for Courtney. Like, it must be for somebody else. Oh, shake it. Oh, this one has a bell on it. It's for Courtney. Like, we know it's for Courtney because we can hear it. We hear the bell. And so those little pieces of things can be really a great way to make sure that things are more inclusive and that everyone, and it's just little things that then can actually help everyone. I do the wrapping paper trick for my own kids because one of my children can't read yet. So she can't identify whose presents are whose, but she knows which wrapping paper is for which person. So then she's able to go up and be like, oh, this is for you, this is for you, and hand it to people. And she has a lot of pride in that moment, even though she can't necessarily read the tag, and she certainly can't read her grandmother's cursive handwriting. And so now she's able to have that moment. And so I think that we can give that to a lot of people. And yes, it was a box of Baileys, because anybody can receive a present, and we now go till 22. HMS school till 22. So you know. Oh, throwing. Who put these things in order?
My friend Teresa. So years of being at HMS, the first catapult we had and fell in love with, it was a wooden catapult, probably about 2 feet big, and you had to dodge it because we would set ourselves up for it, but you had to dodge the process because it would get you. But it was so much fun, and it was so easy to do. And one of the tricks we've learned with using catapults is putting that perfect tension on it. So students who are here and only can move that like little smidgen bit, or you can move their chair back for them, we can put it in their hands, and then they're part of the process. So their whole movement backwards is what's making it go. And Teresa and I took many courses, but one of the courses we took with Therese Wilcom was using slap bracelets and slap koozies as catapults.
Sorry, I'm going to show the slap koozies first. They should be in a different order. This is from our snowball fight again last year. And so a slap koozie is like a koozie that goes around a can, but someone was like, in, I don't know, the like industrial design world was like, oh, takes so long to slide this koozie onto my can. I wish it was just faster. So they made it, and it basically is just 2 slap bracelets inside a piece of neoprene, and it slaps around the can. But we like to use them in another way because we do. So we kind of fold them backwards. So fold them against the way they're supposed to go. So they want to fold into like a cylinder. And so we pull it the opposite direction. And then it becomes it has this amazing springing action. So for this one, we've built it up with this pink circle is actually a hair curler. It's one of those foam twisty hair curlers that we've attached to there, and it just sort of is just enough to hold a ball. So it'll hold one of these fake snowballs, it'll hold a ping pong ball wonderfully, it'll hold like a weird beanbag frog. I feel like we throw a lot of frogs. For some reason we have a whole bunch of beanbag frogs, we throw them.
They're great for gardening. You could put seed bombs on it or bulbs on it, and if they're outside you can fling it that way, be part of the gardening.
And then this sort of beige strap just is holding it in place. And it is, it's a little stretchy, but not super stretchy, but you could use something, you could kind of use anything that is going to grab it and hold it a little bit. I've done it with a bungee cord too. You just gotta be a little bit careful with a bungee cord because sometimes the 2 little hooks like spring off and then like it's terrifying. So I wouldn't do that at school. That's a home activity. But then we're able to attach something, either another piece of this foam like tape or this industrial twist tie, which we love so much. And you can give it just a very tiny movement and it will fling whatever you want to fling. And this has worked very well to fling many, many things. We've made a tiny version of it, which is this, which is using a slap bracelet. So the slap koozie is essentially 2 slap bracelets side by side inside a piece of neoprene, but we just take 1 slap bracelet and again, bend it sort of the wrong way. We glue on like a bottle cap, put on a piece of Velcro so that it can stick to something. And then you can make these really tiny little catapults that you can do the same kind of thing with, or you can hold down with just 1 little finger and let go. I also really like them because the added pieces are on the part that would slap against your wrist. So then you can like secretly have it with you. Like you're just wearing a slap bracelet out in the world. But then it's really a catapult, which is hilariously fun. But they make a really nice way to just like throw things. So I've been teaching a couple of our APE classes, and we've been doing throwing as the main activity. So we've used catapults, we've used a switch activated ping pong ball launcher, and we've used what I'm calling popping cones, because I don't know what they're called, but they're like cones and they have like a button and then it like pops the ball out. If you saw it, you would know what I was talking about. But we've been using all of those things in different ways to throw. So we've been working on throwing. We threw in, we threw two, and this week we're gonna throw to knock stuff down. But sort of doing the same thing, but sort of having us play with it in these different ways to say like, okay, like we now, what would be the best way for us to throw something to knock it down, and exploring all those different avenues.
This is one that was set up for, I think this was the Super Bowl. So we set up using PVC pipe, a ramp, and using the catapult, putting all three of the activities together, we were kicking field goals. So we made a scenario up, we were down by 3, and we were kicking field goals in the classroom. And this, besides that all-in-one board, would be all store purchased items, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do like to use this all-in-one board. This thing, it's like an adjustable easel. One side has what's called Veltex, so it's like fabric that Velcro sticks to really nicely, and on the other side is a whiteboard. It is from the American Printing House for the Blind, so we get them. But you could use anything that you can, any sort of like easily kind of thing would work fine. We just like that one because we have it. And so these are just a few more of our favorite things that we use for lots of stuff. So industrial twist ties, like we said before, they are basically a piece of wire inside foam. They come in different lengths, and they're sold, to put all your extension cords together or whatever. They are amazing and cheap and can be used for so many different things. We use them to make pen holders so that someone can, you can wrap it around the hand and wrap it around the pen, and then all of a sudden you're able to hold the pen more easily. We use them to attach a broom to your wheelchair, so now that you can help sweep. Sometimes we just use it to hold something down. Once you start playing with them, all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, there's all these things that I can do with this piece of wire to sort of help make something. You can use it as a reacher. I had, actually I was at the Abilities Expo last year in May and was talking to someone who was just there, and she was like, where did you get that? And I was telling her about it, and she was like, oh, she's like, I can't reach my sink faucet, so I have a butter knife duct taped to the handle of the faucet. And that's how I turn my faucet on and off. She's like, that's what I need. And I was using it to show something at the HMS booth, and I just took it apart. I was like, I need you to take this home and put this on your faucet, because why you have it? And she was like, thank you so much. Oh my gosh. But I was like, oh no, and she was like, oh, I'm going to be able to find so many ways to use this.
And the thing that's nice though, Teresa, with that idea is we at HMS, we've done tying different fabrics and different pieces of yarn and string to our refrigerators to have them accessible, or anything you kind of pull open. The nice thing with the industrial twist tie is it's sturdier. So I can make it the exact shape that you need, either if it's a circle, if it's just, you can just pull as it is, but they're really, really flexible. And I will throw out there, if anybody has an idea at home, they want to try one out, I will happily send one home, because they definitely, it's a quick fix, it's a not permanent fix, and it's okay to make a mistake if it doesn't work. You didn't go out and spend a few $100s for a handle that doesn't work the way you thought it would.
Yeah. And so you can make it like a loop, and you can put your whole arm through it and use this sort of like more gross motor pattern to pull. And yeah, it's a lot of these things that are on this page, what I really like about them is they don't make permanent harm. It's like a do no harm sort of situation, and they don't leave any residue behind. So up here, this is Tommy tape or silicone tape. It is what it is for, where you would find it is like in the plumbing section. And what it's for is to, like, if a pipe gets a hole in it, you wrap it around the outside of the pipe, it only sticks to itself. So the silicone binds to itself, doesn't actually stick to the other things. So when you go to take it off, you have to cut it because it's stuck to itself, but it doesn't leave any residue behind. There's no adhesive. So we use that a lot for attaching two things together that we don't want to stay together forever. But like maybe I want to attach like a handle to a marker in a different way, but I don't want to duct tape it on because that'll make it all sticky and maybe it'll be stuck for too long. Tommy tape is really nice for that because it'll just stick to itself. It also is a little rubbery, so it gives a little bit of grip. So it can be a really nice thing to put around something for someone who has a hard time holding on to something that's slippery. So like a utensil or something like that, that like maybe is really hard to hold on to. It just gives that little bit of friction because it's like a rubbery kind of material. The microphone clips we talked about before, these are glue dots. Glue dots, again, they sort of sell them for craft things. They're really great to stick things on, but if you pull them off parallel to the surface, they don't leave any residue behind. So unlike Velcro, which I love me some Velcro, but as we all know, once you put Velcro on someone's wheelchair tray, there will be some sort of sticky Velcro-ness for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
And that can be okay, but if you're doing something that's like just for today, you might not want that. Glue dots can be really great for a pretty sturdy hold that when you go to take it back apart, doesn't leave any residue. And down here, as one of the more, I don't want to say complicated, whatever, like.
It's less available. It's
Yeah,
a
so
less
this,
available product, yeah.
yeah, this is called Instamorph. It is plastic beads, little plastic pearls that melt in hot water and then can be shaped. And it's sold a lot for like crafts and making little like figurines and things like that. And you can buy it at craft stores. But sometimes it is the perfect thing because it just melts in hot water. You can mold it kind of like Play-Doh and then put it in cold water and it hardens. So sometimes we will make a grip to something that's specific to someone's hand or a shape or a piece to go in another piece. And that can be something that can be a real game changer. To note about it is it will melt again in hot water, which is great if you mess it up, but it also means that like if you leave it in your car in the summer, it will like flatten out. It will no longer be the thing that you want it to be. You just want to be careful that when it's little tiny plastic pearls, that it doesn't end up somewhere you don't want it to be, like in someone's mouth. And so we showed these things, but we did not show this one. So I'll let Courtney talk about the battery eliminator.
So the battery eliminator is kind of the opposite of what we've done a lot of times, is making something battery or switch adapted, which you put the adapter in the switch adapter in between the battery and the element that it's contacting. And now we've made it a switch port that can be adapted. With this, I really like it because items such as a Five Below bubble machine, one of the small ones, I can put this battery eliminator in, and now I can plug it in for my students to use. So I go back and I can work on everybody's goals depending if they're holding a switch down, if they're turning it on and off, or if they're just turning it on for a period of time and then turning it off. Teresa can explain it the best, but only one battery works, and that's the battery that is attached to the plug itself. The other three are kind of dead batteries, and they don't actually do anything in the process besides hold the space of the battery. So this is also nice for light up toys that you might have. You can just put the two AA batteries in and now plug it into the wall or plug it into your power link, and now your child can turn on and off the item or activity. We're still exploring this one quite a bit, but we just got it in different size batteries to kind of go back and make some of these toys that we have that are battery operated now switch adapted.
And then one of the other pieces, so it's like the thing they keep like want to really advertise it for is like twinkle lights that are battery operated, and then you make them plug in instead. But I just got today C&D ones, which I'm really excited to try, because C&D batteries, like I do have a lot of AA and AAA batteries in my home. I like never have C or D batteries. So if something takes a C or a D battery, you're going to use it once and you're never going to use it again, because you're never going to remember to buy them. So we are exploring using those in some of the different toys.
Yep.
Hello. That's the last slide.
That's it.
If anyone has any questions, I didn't realize that it was also so late. I couldn't see the clock at the same time.
There's definitely a lot of information, so we'll definitely get it in the newsletter as well with any of the things. But with seeing the activities and the adaptations today, I just say if you have something at home and you're curious about, please feel free, send us a picture. We can figure out how to manipulate something or how to make it accessible for everybody in your house as well. Lee, we're going to call you guys soon for the golf.
Awesome.
Yes, Lee and Sandra and any other alumni who watch the recording, we'll make sure we email that out to our alumni as well, the recording and any other resources.
Thanks so much. This was great. Ryan's going to be very excited that I watched this.
Oh, good.
Well, thank you guys so much and have a lovely evening. And I hope to see some of you on Saturday at our Tech Owl toy adapting event at HMS. And have a great night.
Bye, Jake. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, E. Thanks for checking us out. See you guys. Thank you.